Hey guys, so we are going to do a question and answer session inspired by the Growing Gomez channel. We will leave a link in the description below if you want to check them out. But we are going to figure out who we are as individuals and as a Dallas family. Can't wait.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a registered nurse.
I'm a registered nurse as well, but I actually just passed my boards last year.
Woo!
And so I'm actually a nurse practitioner now looking for a job.
What areas of nursing have you worked in?
I have worked in cardiac step-down, telemetry, orthopedics, general surgery, med-surg, pediatrics, a outpatient unit that does chemotherapy, infusions, blood, and pre-admission testing, which is more surgery type stuff.
I've also done cardiac step-down nursing, which is basically just taking care of heart patients with like heart attacks and stuff like that. And I'm also working in the gastrointestinal lab, which does colonoscopies and endoscopies. Yes.
Where were you born?
Little town called Nashville, Arkansas.
I was born in Beaumont, Texas.
Who's older?
I am 4 years older. I'll be 32 on Tuesday, July 31st.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
And I'll be 28 and on October 6th.
How long have you been married?
3 years and 2 months.
That's detailed.
What's been your favorite memory since you've been married?
Okay, so this is kind of weird sounding, but I love when we're all together as a family in close quarters. So our son was hospitalized when he was 6 weeks old with a urinary tract infection, so everything was fine, totally healable. But I loved when we were all in the room together for several days and just close. Like, I love those kind of memories.
Gotcha. That's a good memory. Memories. I love it when our family travels. So like our honeymoon, we went on a cruise, and then our first year anniversary we went to Florida, and the second year anniversary we went to a little town called Heber Springs, and we went on a Magic Springs trip with our son just recently.
Yeah.
And I just love it when we're all together as a family.
Oh yeah. What's been the hardest thing that we've done in our marriage, or gone through in our marriage?
We had a job loss in the family. Do you have any pets?
We have a weenie dog named Kirby, and he's 7?
Turning 7.
Turning 7, are you sure? In October?
2001? Yeah.
2011.
2011, yeah.
And then we also have 8 chickens.
Wow.
Where do we see ourselves in 5 years?
3 kids, 2 nurse practitioner jobs, and a clinic, a bigger house. What do you like to do in your spare time, Amy?
I love photography and now videography. I've never really been huge into it, but I love photography, so I've always liked making movies, like home movies, and I loved watching home movies as a kid. I love gardening too.
Gardening is a lot of fun. I didn't like it, didn't think I would whenever I first met Amy, but now I love it. Growing our own food, getting sustainable.
Yeah.
And I love sports. Don't get to play them a lot, but that's okay.
Not yet. We have a son.
Yeah.
He might be able to.
Yeah. And we like to play disc golf. We haven't played it in a while, but
and
we're going
racquetball
to.
when I was
and
pregnant.
Yeah.
What are your favorite sports teams?
Well, our last name is Dallas, so Dallas Cowboys are pretty top notch. And in college world, we have the Arkansas Razorbacks, and then no, that's it. Wait. No, baseball.
Yeah, baseball.
Major League Baseball. Atlanta Braves. Tomahawk Chop. What?
My favorite teams are this guy's teams.
What does your child's name mean?
So Elijah means my God is Yahweh, and Yahweh is just like a specific term for God. So it just means he is eternal, everlasting, all-knowing, ever-present. And then Michael is his middle name, and that happens to be the name of my father. And so we wanted to honor my father, and so we named him Elijah Michael. How old is Elijah?
He just turned 1 year old.
When?
June 9th. Breastfed or bottle fed?
So I'm laughing because we're actually in a dressing room and I'm trying bras on. So we're not going to video that though. We're not those kind of people. No judgment. We're just not those people. Elijah was breast and bottle fed. I had a hard time with breastfeeding, but I was very determined. So we did it till he was 6 months old, but he got formula starting at 6 weeks old until... Can I just brag for a second about, where's the son? Lane Bryant. They're amazing. If you're a big girl and you need a bra, go there. What are some of the best things about raising a child?
There's a lot. Like getting to teach them everything that you've learned up until this point in time, and getting to see him go to church and getting to hear his laugh and just see kind of more of his personality every day. It's been really fun.
I'm with Dakota. Like, it's really cool to see a little human that favors you, whether it's like looks, personality, temperament. I'm sorry, Elijah, for the future. And just like he said, just absorbing like knowledge and just growing, and I don't know, it's just, there's a lot of great things. Of course, all you mom and dads know that, but I think just watching you grow and just like retain things just like a little sponge, it's just fun and exciting to know that, you know, we're maybe doing something right.
So what's the hardest thing about raising a kid?
Having patience.
Yeah.
When he throws a temper tantrum or he's hurting. I think the hardest part right now, just from what we know in the season of life we're in, is he can't communicate to us. He can't tell us, I hurt here, or I'm sad because I don't want to go to bed, or I'm really attached to you right now and I don't want to go to bed and be away from you, or I'm very excited because I'm starting to crawl and walk or whatever, you know, and I don't want to go to bed. I'm excited. I want to explore more. Like, I think the lack of communication, maybe that's more of my answer. The lack of communication is the hardest part right now.
So I think one of the hardest parts about raising a kid is just getting in a routine and then breaking the routine with, like Amy said earlier, maybe his temperament, or just, you know, something that's bothering him and him being in pain and not knowing what it is and not knowing how to fix it. So when you go through a hard time in your marriage, who do you reach out to?
We reach out to our small group. We call them our family. Someone in our small group coined that term. We love it because they're not necessarily blood family, but they're definitely family, friends and family. But our small group is who we reach out to a lot. If something's going on or something's going good, they're there through the rough times and the good times. And we just try to keep it safe. You know, we don't just reach out to anybody because we don't want worldly advice. We want godly advice, especially in our marriage, because our marriage is founded on God. Anything else?
No, I think that's good.
First, check out that moon. Beautiful. Second, how do you deal with disagreements in your marriage?
I think we both have different ways, but I think one thing that we usually try to do is just tell each other, like, hey, I'm going to just take a few minutes by myself and just go pray and really, you know, search our hearts on the situation and try to gain perspective from where the other person is viewing from.
I think another important thing that we try to remember, we're not always great about remembering it, is to remember each other's hearts and motives. Like, I know that Dakota has my back, that he wants the best for me, he wants me to grow. So even though I get really ticked off in the moment and I really don't want to talk to you, or I do want to talk to you and my words aren't loving at all, I just need to remember to, like, okay, Dakota's heart, he loves me, he wants the best for me. So, you know, just remembering truths too. Like, we try to speak truths over each other too, because the devil likes to speak lies to us and say, hey, he doesn't love you, hey, he loves someone else, or it's something you're doing, he's never really loved you. Just certain lies that we hear, and we're not alone, we all hear these lies. It's just distinguishing that these aren't truths. Truths are, he does love me, he is committed to me, he's in this marriage. So just protecting each other and speaking truth over each other is huge for disagreements.
What do you admire most about each family member?
Oh my goodness. Okay, the thing I admire most about you, Dakota, is your patience. You are so patient. He has proven that to me with just myself, but also whenever we had our son. I think a lot of you guys can relate that the first few months of having a baby, the first 6 months of having a baby, for us personally, was very trying, very difficult. And nursing our child was very difficult for me. My experience was very hard on me physically and emotionally, and I'd say it was kind of equally emotionally and physically, maybe more emotionally than physically. So just the fact that you were so patient during that time, and you were patient with Elijah, and you were patient with me, and those were big changes. So that's the biggest thing I admire about you. And then Elijah, the biggest thing I admire about him right now, I guess it would have to be like his joy. Like, I love how joyful he is, and that he just like, he's starting to, like, I guess, social laugh now. Like, if I laugh or Dakota laughs or he sees something on a show now, he'll laugh at it. And it's just really fun. Yeah.
All right. So what I love about you, Amy, is your heart. That you're always willing to help somebody out in need. And whether it's at the hospital or whether it's in our family or our friends, like you're always willing to be there for them, to support them, to pray for them, to listen to them. And that's what I love about you. And Elijah, there's just so many things. I admire his laugh. I admire his personality.
Yeah.
He's always learning something new, and yeah, he's just a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for taking time to get to know us a little bit better. If you have any more questions or anything, we're, for the most part, pretty much an open book. So just ask away, and please leave some comments below, some positive comments. We're new. And thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Bye, guys.